Yo, guys, what's going on? LuckyRave is back again to give you guys my live stream discussion slash review on Dead Rock Chapter 17. Now, listen, I know this chapter came out earlier in the month, okay? It's been like a few weeks, and I've been meaning to tackle it. Number two, the crazy thing is, I'm tackling this chapter just coming off from my stream discussion on the latest 100 Years Quest chapter. So, looking at it like that, you're kind of thinking, like, dang, like, Lucky is really going, like, heavy on the streams today. Well, it's only two, to be fair. Like, it's been a long time since I've actually tackled two streams, like, back to back on the same day. It's kind of nuts, actually, when you think about it. But, given that, chapter 17, I think, is very monumental in more ways than one. Now, I say that given with where we are currently at with the volumes right now. But, well, if we look at it, and I'll touch on this briefly, that way we can just go ahead and dive right into the chapter. But Volume 3, its chapter count just came out recently, which it covers up until chapter 12, which I think a lot of us already knew, but there was no, like, specific listings on, like, all right, so how many chapters does it cover up to? So it's chapter 12, and that's 5. So if we're going with that same approach for Volume 4, this would be most likely, actually, the ending of Volume 4, which it would be an interesting ending spot, and it'd actually be kind of cool, too, which I'm about the devil into that right now. So, Chapter 17 of Dead Rock is titled Eiji and Dest, and yo, this man Yakuto on these cover pages looking like a freaking badass. I mean, look, it's just him, you know, with his nice looking shoes on. He's got the drink in his hand, but that's just a cover page. Now we get to where the chapter left us off of last month, which was the announcement of the Death Arena, the whole field day tournament, right? Where, we win. The only way to win is to make sure your opponent is like gone. Like, nothing remains of your opponent. They have to be dead, excommunicated. Like, they are gone from the world. That is how you proceed to the next round. And obviously, because that's the thing, Yakuto and Frey, first they were like all excited, like, yo, when we fight, we're going to have fun. Then you get this whole revelation that's like, oh, shoot. I mean, given the fact that the field day is called Dead or Alive, should obviously be a big indication of that, but still says a lot. But we're here, Dead Rock Death Arena, field day tournament, and we have the matchups here still. So we have Frey and Lozin, Eiji and Lloyd, Satsuna and Virgio, and Yakuto and Dest. Now, one thing I already did say is that the Yakuto and Dest fight, from what I remember mentioning last month, is that I don't think that fight's going to take too long. I really don't. Like, I already said that this fight would probably, if it lasts a chapter, cool. And I thought, okay, at most, maybe 2 chapters. Maybe. That's what I thought. And then, we get to see the other stuff. The winner will talk to God up close. But each round is a fight to the death. You cannot, and this is the thing that I mentioned before, you cannot win without killing a classmate. And that was mentioned in the panel right here, by the way. This same panel shot we get here is between Yakuto and Frey. Like, they're both just like looking at one another. There's a bit of sweat dropping off on Yakuto's face, much like with Frey. And he's contemplating, like, can I? And then looks away. Kill a friend for the sake of my goal. To kill God. And you're seeing, like, how he's, like, shaken up, too. He's like, And as soon as that happens, Frey, walks on over to him, embraces him. Like, this is very much like how Lucy would hug Natsu, Ellie with Haru, Rebecca with Shiki. Same case, okay? Same case. And you look, this is already telling, okay? Because I know a lot of people were like, okay, so is it gonna be Yakuto Frey or is it gonna be Yakuto Mikoto? And either one, I was like, I was really okay with whichever one he ends up with. Though, again, knowing how, because of how I know Hiro Mashima and his style of storytelling, I always know that it's always going to be, it's always going to be, you know, his main hero and his female lead. That's how it usually goes. He always builds up a romance between like his hero and his female character too, which I'm always okay with. To me, it's not about a matter of like, oh, because it's the female, it's the hero and the female lead, they always end up together. How cliche! It's not about that. To me, like as long as you have good chemistry, as long as the characters show like genuine interest, genuine moments, they're actually there for one another, that's what makes a good relationship. Okay, and right now we're seeing that here firsthand. The way how Frey is like embracing Yakuto, like when he feels like he's at like a low point, he's like, damn, like I really have to do this. I really gotta pull the trigger in order for my goals to go somewhere. And also, look at the reaction on everyone's face, okay? You have Zalesia, Chaka, okay? You have her reaction. You got Mikoto's reaction. Honey's reaction. Honey's reaction cracked me up. Like, the sway's like, huh? And then you have Ryzen's reaction, too. And again, nothing's being said, okay? The way Frey's embracing Yakuto, and she tells him, "Look, all I care about is Lozen. As long as I get to kill him, I don't care what happens." And Yakuto's still just like a bit taken aback. He's like, "But Frey-san, that's my goal." That's what she tells him. You have one too, don't you? You gotta go for it. Like she's already accepted. Look, my whole goal, my whole endeavor now was to kill Lozen. Like after finding out what Lozen did to my sister, that's all I'm striving for. After that, like you have to do what you got to do, okay? And again, this just shows like how Yagato's like thinking. He's like, man, I really got to do this. Then you cut over to Eiji and Dest, which, funny enough, is the chapter title, right? A fight to the death, huh? Hmm. We know this is going to happen sooner or later. Better not run away. And you better not let anyone kill you but me. I'm gonna kill you. That's the proclamation they both make to one another. Then you cut over to Mr. God himself, God, and Lilith. And he asks her, "So who do you think is gonna win?" And Lilith's like, "Lozen's the obvious choice, but one of those kids killed the vice principal." And yo, I've been saying this for months, okay? I've been saying this that God himself, Mr. God, he knows. He's keeping a sharp eye on Yagato. And he's doing that right here. He's like, he might be after me. And Yagato, back in composure, looking towards Mr. God and being like, you're the goal, you're the target. I ain't keeping my eyes off you. No, 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 no. You are going down. That's how this will go. It will be me. Then you have the announcer saying, the moment you've all been waiting for has arrived. The dead or alive final tournament will now begin. All the students are cheering, and then you have this exchange between Eiji and Dest. They're like, don't go losing on me out of the blue. Like I lose to a nobody like that. And you got Frey looking all smuggy, just with a smile, being like, "Good luck, Yakuto." And Ryzen's just like, "Better not lose." And Chaco's like, "I'll comfort you." Oh, I love the emotional support from Zalessia. Okay, she's like, "I'll comfort you if you lose." And Honey, look, we know the "Are you stupid" joke was gonna pop in. Okay, but this one's pretty accurate. He's like, he'll be dead if he loses. Are you stupid? I mean, it's not wrong there. Round one. First match, it's Yakuto from Class 1. Okay, well, he didn't say class, but from 1F versus Dest from 1A. Yeah, from 1A, right? Freaking wannabe over here. And I mentioned this in the last year. I said Dest was going to be like gone. And they're like, this will be a cakewalk for Yakuto. That's what Zalessia says. And Honey's like, you think? Dest's no slouch either. And Raisin looks straight over at Mikoto. He's like, "Hey, you're looking awfully roughed up." And she's like, and she says it so proudly too. Okay, look, I don't blame Frey. Okay, I said Frey. I don't blame Mikoto because I mentioned this for a few streams now, but she is stunning. Okay, love her character, by the way. She is a goddess, so we ain't taking that away from her. And she's saying it proudly. Yes, the clothes got ripped up. And look, I already know there will probably be some people being like, "Ah, here we go again with the freaking fan service." But here's the thing: as far as Dead Rock goes, that hasn't really been focused on a lot. Like, if you really noticed Dead Rock, the fan service has been like super minuscule. Okay, I mean, like to a point where it's like just a single panel. That's it. And even then, like the most you've gotten is from Frey, and like you know, the situation of the story, right? It's like she was in this battle, like, against Baltigore. And I mean, you got to take it realistically. If you're in a fight, you know, obviously your clothes are going to get shredded. That's just how it goes. Like, it's not like you fight someone and your clothes are like, fine the way they are. Especially like if you're fighting in water and they get drenched. Oh, yeah, no, they're gone. Okay? This ain't no like One Piece and Naruto situation where like you fight and like you come out unscathed, clothes are gonna be fine. It's not like that at all. In case of Naruto, well, his clothes kind of banged up during the Fourth Greninja War, so that excuse is out the window. Anyway, given all that, like she says that proudly, and Raisin just starts blushing. So, um, Reika telling you? If we're gonna go by shippings, okay. So we have Yaku Frey, then we have Ray Me. Actually, I like that name. Yeah, Ray Me's, and then you have Ray Me as a ship name. So, or Ray, no Ray Meek. There we go. And you have Ray Meek as the ship name. So, I mean, I could see that too. I'd be okay with them. I mean, considering the fact that Raisin's already dead and he's only alive because of Mikoto, I think does say a lot, So I think you already got a little bit of something there. Unless something happens to Mikoto, which is very much a possibility, then you know. But you know that that little fun exchange aside, Mikoto looking very confidently, just being like, "But don't worry, I gave as good as I got, and then some." And she just looks straight over to like the stands, right? Like to the higher echelons where like everyone is like just viewing, okay? Mr. God, Lilith, and speaking of Baltimore, like dude, she's snickering too. And Baltimore, mad sweating. This dude is mad sweating. And, you know, he's like, what's wrong, Baltimore? Oh, nothing. But Lilith decides to read his mind. I can read minds. So Ghost made a move. What a pain. Then we cut over to where the fight actually takes place. Yakuto and Dest. Match one! Begin! Dong! If I had a bell, I would make that sound. Here. There. Dong sound. There. Yakuto getting ready. Same thing with Dest. And like it's fist for fist, blow for blow. Like they're dodging one another. And Honey's like, watch out, Yakuto. He's got a gargoyle route. He'll turn you into stone if he touches you. And then Yakuto takes that into account. He dodges. And, Dest still trying to do what he can. But Yakuto with the reflexes. I mean, listen. Yakuto with the goddamn reflexes. He's doing a great job. Mikoto calls out to Yakuto. And Dest is like, what's the matter? Go on. Show me how strong you were enough to beat Cougar. And you get what happens. Yakuto gets flung back. But even so, it's not stopping him. And Dest is like, come on. I'm going to come out on top. And Eiji's like looking over. And he's just reminiscing about, their childhood. Because that's all we get into. We get into like a small, quick flashback scene between Eiji and Dest. See what happens. And he's like, I'm going to kill you, I swear. And Eiji's like, go on and try. Damn it. And he, falls to the ground. And Eiji's like, you never learn. You're never going to beat me no matter how many times you try. Damn it. I will next time. And, cut to the next time. Same thing happens again. And again. And again. And again. To when finally, he lands a hit on Eiji. And Dest is like, how you like that? I got a hit on you, Eiji. And Eiji's just like laughing. He's like, what's so funny, you jerk? You are. Excuse me? Watching you getting that strong for... Anyway, I don't care about getting strong. I just want to kill you. You're the strongest guy on level 599. And Eiji says, if you kill me, there's worse monsters on other levels. Like Cougar from level 306. Oh, that level's closer to the surface. I heard he's... So this is confirmation right here. The higher you get to each of the levels, the closer it is to the surface. So kind of interesting right there. That's actually kind of interesting to note about that. I've heard he's strong though. Then I'll kill him too. Dead Rock. That's where he is. The Demon Ruler Training Institution. You want to go there? Yeah. Then I will too. I'll kill both of you. And that gives, Eiji a bit of a smirk. He's just like, all right, bet. Looking forward to this. We've always been together. Friends and rivals. Again, you have the students cheering. What's that sound? Oh, it's the audience. And Yakuto, dude, okay, sheesh. First of all, Yakuto, with the black dragon arm, okay, he's there, laying like a straight blow to Dest. Eiji notices that, okay? Mikoto is happy as hell. Choco in shock. Honey in mad shock. Ryzen's at a loss for words. Setsuna's noticing that too. Same thing with Lloyd and Virgio. It's like, not bad. The noise is gone. It's so quiet. Eiji, wait for me. And as soon as he says that, okay, this is Dest just thinking, monologuing, right? This shot right here, okay? Yakuto really went out and said, I'm doing this. I'm ending this right here and now. Okay. I had a little bit of my struggle, my confliction on wanting to kill a friend with Frey, and she's telling me it's okay. To be fair, in this case with Death, Yakuto didn't give two shits. That's the important thing. Yakuto did not give two shits about Death and Eiji. He did not care whatsoever. So obviously, to Death, he's just another fool. That's the thing. To Death, Yakuto, or no, to Death, okay, to Yakuto, Death is just like, uh, fodder, if you will. He's another fodder. He's another roadblock in his way to ensuring victory. That is what's happening here. Now, obviously, when we do get to Frey, that is where the real tension's going to be. But I did say this. Okay, I said this last month. As far as Yakuto and Desk goes, there's only one way that fight ends. And we get that here. Desk gets taken out. Just like I thought he would. Okay, there's a whole big, like, uh, aftershock that happens. And the announcer says, we have a winner! Yakuto! And Zelensky's like, ew. And Honey's like, he didn't have to go that far. But Mikoto states an important fact here. She says, yes, he did. That's what he had to do to win. And Raisin's like, there's not even a body left. And, dude, Mr. God is like, please. He's like, oh. Lilith's like, incredible. Of course Lilith would say that. Given with what she did to Yakuto, like, underneath the chapel, like, obviously she's pleased about that. Pun intended, by the way. And this dude Yakuto, listen, I love Yakuto. He literally just bodied somebody. Yakuto just bodied a person, okay? And he's like, yes! Like, I did it! I did it! He's gone! So, he's walking over. Eiji's there. Yakuto takes notice of that. And very boldly, very confidently, Yakuto just glances over and says, I'll kill you too. Because you're in my way. Eiji takes notices of that. He's like, then the last page and a half, okay? Not even the last page and a half, the last few panels. We cut back over to the forest. If I remember what the forest is called, I'll have to pull it up here. Because I want to make sure I get this exact wording right. To Deep Cry, right? So we cut back over to Deep Cry. And this is important. Where Magu Maggie's there. She's like, this is God's weakness? Impossible. So she was able to, like, open the book back up. Like, not open the book back up, but she was able to, like, open up the book. She discovered his weakness. And she's saying impossible. Now, there's a lot of ways you can go and interpret that. Okay, there's a lot of variables you can take when it comes to that scene in particular. And I do have to wonder what it is. The fact that she's saying it's impossible makes me think, okay, so it's not necessarily the school. Because that was a theory that a lot of people had, is that if you destroy the building, maybe that's a way to destroy God. But something tells me but given this line of dialogue now, it's got to be something else. It's obviously got to be something else that we have here with the whole weakness to God. What that is, I'm curious about. And the thing we have to keep in mind is that what Hero he does know of the story of Dead Rock, okay? Because he did say it was going to be a limited series. We've already progressed through a lot. within these 17 chapters, we've actually covered a lot. So, given that, this potentially being the end of volume 4, which I think is more likely now, does say so much. Where that leads us to has me fascinated. Super, super fascinated, to say the least. But then we got to talk about the matchups, okay? So, like I said, I already predicted that Yakuto and Dest was going to be easy. I already said Yakuto's going to come out on top of that one, and he proved it here in this chapter. He really proved it. Now you only have 3 matchups left. You have Setsuna and Virgil, which I think that's going to end with Setsuna winning. I do think that's a possibility that that's still going to happen. So Yakuto already moved over into the next stage, right? For round 2. So Setsuna, I think, is going to win her match against Virgil, and that's going to lead into a matchup against Yakuto and Setsuna. Then you have Eiji and Lloyd. Now, here's the thing. Lloyd is not going to be a credible person, okay? We already know that. And we already know, just based on this chapter, the relevancy of Eiji. So obviously Eiji is going to come out of that one. Then you're going to get Frey versus Lozen. And that's the wild card fight, okay? And that's the one I was already talking about. Is that there's 2 possibilities with that fight. Either Frey comes out on top and defeats Lozen by some miracle, or she meets her end by Lozen. That's what I see. There's 2 possibilities with Frey. She's either able to take out Lozen somehow, some way. Lozen gets the upper hand and defeats her. Or there's scenario 3. And, well, see, that's the thing. You can't end this in a draw. You can't. Because I initially thought, well, okay, maybe there's a case where, they both wipe each other out. That's a possibility too. Yeah, no. Because they did say the only way to win is if one of you dies. That's the thing. So there's 3 scenarios for now. Frey either kills Lozen kills Frey, or they both die together. Okay? Like, there's an attack so powerful it eliminates both of them. That's always a possibility. Now, 2 of those possibilities worries me. One of them is better, but we do know that's eventually going to lead into a confrontation where Yakuto and Frey do have to confront one another. That's always a possibility too. So either way, even if Frey wins, eventually, see, that's the thing. Because even if you face against Eiji, because then she has to deal with him too. So that's the thing. So again, Yakuto Setsuna. I think that's one we will see. Eiji probably gonna win. Frey gonna win maybe. And if she does win, then she fights off against Eiji. And how that fight goes, I don't know. We just gotta wait and see. But overall, you guys, those are my thoughts on Dead Rock Chapter 17. My rating for the chapter, I'm gonna go ahead and give it Amazing Plus. I was gonna go Pure Perfection. I really did consider that, and I'm very well could like in the future. But actually, no. Let me scratch that. I will give it Pure Perfection simply because, as an ending to the volume, because when you look at the final panels too, the last few panels of Chapter 17, that screams the ending of a volume. And as an ending volume, it sets up so much, okay? And it leaves you wondering, okay, what are we getting? You know? So given that, I'll say it, pure perfection. It's a pure perfection chapter of Dead Rock. Again, we progressed through so much within this chapter. We When we get some characterizations on Dest and Eiji, as brief as it is, it's still pretty good. Um, Yakuto beating Dest, I already saw that coming, and I'm content with that. And then, of course, like I said, you have this whole setup now with God's weakness, how it's impossible, which leaves you for a case of curiosity. But overall, you guys, that is pretty much all I have to say when it comes to Dead Rock Chapter 17. Let me know what you guys' thoughts were on this chapter. What was your favorite part about it? Did you guys have any gripes with the chapter? Do you guys feel like maybe Yakuto versus Dest could have stretched into the next chapter? And I think it could, definitely. I think that there is some argument to be made that yeah, maybe this fight could have gone into like the next half of chapter 17, but you also have to take into account that there are other rounds we have to go through, right? So Setsuna and Virgio, I don't think is going to be like a big heavy focus for the next chapter. I really don't. I think we'll see the result of who wins that fight, and maybe likewise with Eiji and Lloyd. I think we're going to get that too, and maybe we kind of get an answer of what God's weakness is. Maybe either we get that answer next chapter, or that's going to be something we save for like later on in Volume 5. Maybe. But given that, the main one here, Eiji Lloyd, but I do see Eiji coming out on top of that one. But the big one's going to be Frey and Lozen. That's like the next big fight we're getting, is Lozen and Frey. So curious. Super, super curious. And with that being said, you guys, that's pretty much all I have to say when it comes to this live stream discussion / review on Dead Rock Chapter 17. Once again, let me know what you guys thought on this chapter. Do you guys have any gripes of the chapter? And aside from that, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm LuckyRave. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Dead Rock content, Hiro Mashima content, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Laters.